Hi all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share a story with you about 25-year-old Sydney Sutherland from Jackson County, Arkansas. Sydney went for a run last Wednesday, August 19th of 2020, and disappeared. Police say she was last seen by a UPS driver jogging off Highway 18 between Newport and Grubbs around 3 p.m., going west in Jackson County, for those of you who are familiar with the area. After they were notified that she never returned home from her run, they formed search parties and began looking for her. On the second day of the search for Sydney, her cell phone was found a quarter-mile away from her home. On the third day of searching, which was last Friday, August 21st, Sydney's body was found near her home in Jackson County. Sydney's boyfriend's parents confirmed that Sydney was found in a Facebook post on Friday and that an arrest had been made. According to the Jackson County Sheriff, they've arrested 28-year-old Quake Llewellyn, a farmer from Jonesboro, Arkansas, and have charged him with capital murder. For clarification, capital murder is murder that is punishable by death. Capital murder involves murder plus some type of aggravating circumstance, such as murdering someone while committing another felony like rape or abduction, or murdering a child. According to the Facebook post by Sydney's boyfriend's parents, Llewellyn admitted to killing Sydney, and WMCActionNews5.com is reporting that the Jackson County Sheriff stated that Llewellyn knew her, but the nature of their relationship, if any, is currently unclear. Now, this is the third time I've recorded this video. I tried twice over the weekend, but had sound problems, so I thought I'd try again today. In my original story, I talked about the fact that if Llewellyn abducted Sydney prior to her murder, that would have been sufficient to charge him with capital murder because that would have been the aggravating circumstance they needed for such a charge. I said I really hoped it wasn't that she was sexually assaulted. Well, before I recorded today, I checked for new updates on the story, and my fear was confirmed. On Monday, August 24th, Llewellyn appeared in court and confessed to abducting, sexually assaulting, and murdering Sydney. This is so sad. He said he drove by her, walking on the route she was last seen on, and he decided to turn around and abduct her. He said he forced her into his truck, drove her about 3 miles to a farm, sexually assaulted her, and buried her on the farmland. I haven't read whether the farmland belonged to his family or not, but according to the research I've done, he is a third-generation farmer, and his family has won awards for their work. I also found that he had joined a Facebook group that was sharing information to help find Sydney, obviously so he would be in the know about what was happening and he wouldn't look like a suspect. So, Sydney decides to go for a run, all by herself, not bothering anybody, and in a moment someone decides to take her life. Just because he drove by and saw her there alone. Just because he had the opportunity, if we believe his story. Crimes of opportunity happen every day. They happen because we as a people become complacent about our safety. We think things won't happen to us because we're in familiar places or around familiar people. It's not at the forefront of our minds to look for danger as we go throughout our day unless something is brought to our attention. In Sydney's case, she was running close to her home, probably on a route she knew well, and according to the sheriff, she knew her attacker. She probably didn't think for 1 second that she would be in any danger until he made it clear to her that she was. I'm assuming he must have had a weapon in order to force her into his truck, so I don't know if she felt she had any way to prevent this from happening to her. So before I go into my lecture about staying safe out there from things other than COVID-19, understand that I'm not saying Sydney could have prevented her murder. I just wish she hadn't been alone. Then I highly doubt Llewellyn would have turned around. How many times have you seen someone walking alone at night staring at their phone instead of looking around them? How often do you see people running with both earbuds in, preventing them from hearing anyone approaching from behind? Here's one I used to see all the time. A woman at the grocery store leaves her purse in the cart while she walks away to get something. Ah, but you say, you do that all the time and you've never had a problem. Well, Let me tell you something that happened to a previous coworker of mine. And no, this is not a story I just made up. It really happened to her, and she was devastated. She went to a restaurant to meet a friend for dinner and hung her purse on the back of the chair next to her. She didn't realize someone grabbed it when she wasn't looking. Her keys were in her purse. By the time dinner was over and she realized her purse was gone, they had stolen her car, and because she had ID in her purse with her address on it, when she got home, she found that they had broken into her house. Never put your keys in your purse. It's bad enough if you get your purse stolen and you lose money and have to cancel all your credit cards to prevent theft, but don't hand them access to your car and your home, too. People don't think of that. Here's one if you have kids that you may never have heard before. Never put your children in the car while you load groceries and purchases into your trunk. That way, if someone carjacks you, they only get your car and your groceries, not your kids. Think that's extreme? No way. There are so many cases where vehicles are stolen with children inside. Unfortunately, where I live, we hear about them way more than we should. Why? Because nobody thinks anything would go wrong by leaving your child in a car for a minute or two while you run into a party store or a gas station. The ones that kill me the most? When you see children left in a running car for a minute or two. That pisses me off. I can't tell you how many times I've stood back and watched a running car with children in it while the driver ran into a store. And I'll stay there until the driver comes back, just to make sure the children are safe. I have to. I'd much rather do that than see them show up in an Amber Alert later. But I'm always on high alert. Not to the point where I'm paranoid or anything, but I'm always aware of my surroundings as much as possible. Another thing I do when I'm out and about, I watch elderly people while they walk to their cars, especially if they have groceries to load or something like that. I know, I know. You can come for me in the comments for being a stalker. But, in my defense, they're vulnerable, just like children. They more than likely can't fight back, so they are opportunities all over the place. And so many elderly people enjoy being independent. They shouldn't have to worry about somebody robbing them or attacking them just because they can't fight back. I'm not telling you these things because I have nothing better to do. I'm telling you these things hoping that you will consider incorporating them into your own life to raise your awareness and help you and others be safer. Sometimes just taking an extra minute of your time or paying attention to things around you can mean the difference between life and death. And pay attention to signs. When something doesn't seem right, I don't care how small it might seem, it might be significant. And stop dismissing everything as coincidence. If you're a woman, how many times have you left a business and walked to your car only to find a rape van parked right next to you? You know, an old beat up van with no windows in the back with the sliding door next to your driver's side door? Yeah. Never turn your back on it. If you can, walk around your car in the front and look in their windshield to see if someone's in the driver's seat. They'll be expecting you to approach your car from the back, not getting a good look at the driver from the front. Make eye contact if you can. Let them know you saw him. Unlock your car while you're in front of it. Then pull the door open while you're behind it toward the front of your car. That way, if the sliding door opens, you aren't there to grab. Your car door's in between you and them, and you can turn and run. Sound crazy to you? Guess what? They call them rape vans for a reason. Don't be a victim. Am I scaring the crap out of you? Good. It's my intention to. I learned this from a cop. Always walk to your car with your biggest key in hand just in case you need to use it to fight off an attacker. You might think a key can't do much, but if you can, go for their face and eyes, and you can do some damage. Remember, if they grab you with both hands, they have no way to defend themselves from your attack unless they let go. Never underestimate the power of eye contact. I've read that just letting people know that you've seen them lets them know that you will be able to describe them, and it can deter them from attacking. Little things can make a big difference. If I'm out after dark and you walk past me, you're going to think I'm hot for you. Because not only am I looking you over and making eye contact as you approach me, but I'm turning around to make sure you keep walking. Okay, you can say I've watched too many crime stories, and you'd be right. But so many of them were crimes of opportunity. And if I've learned anything from them, it is to minimize the opportunity as much as possible. Because I've watched so many crime stories, there are so many more things I can tell you to do. But then I'd ruin my reputation as a nice person on YouTube, and I'm not looking to lose viewers. But I do have one more piece of advice for the women who may be watching this. I don't mean in general, I mean in instances where you feel the need to do so. Don't be afraid to be a bitch if you need to be. Sometimes we tend to be too nice because it's who we are. We don't like to be rude, mean, etc. But sometimes you need to be for your own safety. Now, I don't know if it was called for in this case or not, but I didn't stick around long enough to find out. I'm a Diet Coke freak, not gonna lie. And now with COVID, I get my groceries delivered. So I buy lots of Diet Coke and end up with lots of cans and bottles. One day I decided I'd better return them before I became inundated with them. It was the first time I went to the store since COVID hit. I don't like to park next to other cars, so I parked at the end of a row in a huge parking lot. Huge. There weren't many cars in the lot, and I was way far away from any of them. When I came out of the store, the lot was even emptier. There were tons of empty spaces, but I noticed that someone with the exact same car as me parked way out in the boonies next to me. I was irritated, not gonna lie. He had the whole damn lot to choose from. Anyway, I had a pretty far walk to my car, so as I was walking to it and shooting daggers at his with my eyes, he saw me and was literally watching me as I was walking toward him. Red flag, he's paying too much attention. As I got closer, he got out of his car. For a moment, I was relieved. I thought he was going to go in the store, but he didn't. He closed the door and leaned against his car and just stood there. I knew he was going to say something to me. I just didn't know what. So I decided to go into bitch mode so I'd be ready for anything. I didn't see anything in his hands, or else I would have stopped and turned around. And sure enough, when I got close enough, he said hi. It was harmless, so I said hi back. As I passed his car and got to mine, he came around the back of his car and said, "Hey, can I talk to you?" I immediately got in my car and locked the doors. He came up to my window and yelled, "Hey," right into my window. I started my car and left. I don't know what he wanted, but the situation didn't feel right. My son thinks he probably just wanted to talk cars since we had the same Camaro, but I didn't care. He was acting weird, and I just wanted to get away from him. And besides, if he just wanted to talk cars, I don't think he would have yelled through my window. He would have said something as I was approaching him, I'm sure. I'm so glad I have black tinted windows so he couldn't see me. It was just weird. I couldn't talk about my car with him anyway. All I know is that the gas goes in the little door on the right, and I don't think that would have impressed him much. So my point is, sometimes you need to make a judgment call if you feel that something is off, whether you want to or not. There's nothing wrong with letting someone know that you're not going to be messed with, or just quickly leaving a situation that feels wrong. It's better to err on the side of caution than to find yourself in a situation that you can't get out of. Now that I've bummed everybody out and made you afraid to leave the safety of your home ever again, I'll leave you with a cute story, so you won't be afraid to watch my videos ever again. There's a guy a few houses down from where I live who I call a sports car enthusiast. He has a bunch of them, and he lines our street with them, and they're not cheap cars. It's his hobby, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, my sons have sports cars too, so they talk cars with him and say he's a nice guy. So after I bought my car, he stopped me in the street one day when I was leaving to ask me about my car, and I couldn't answer a single question he asked me. Engines and horsepower, and I don't know all that stuff. So I told him I bought the car because it was pretty and I liked it, which burned him to no end. So he jokingly informed me that it was a damn shame that I own my car when I can't even appreciate what's under the hood. After that, it became a running joke, and every time he was outside with his little son, who's just as cute as a button, and he would see me outside, he would send his son to ask me if I know anything about my car yet. So for a while, I just gave him the same answer. I would just say, "Tell him I know where to put the gas." This has been going on for months now, and I know he's just having fun with me. But sometimes you just have to put people in their place. So the last time he sent his son to ask me, I told him to tell his dad that all I know is that my car can smoke any of his any day of the week and twice on Sunday. I've been outside many times since that day, but he doesn't send his little boy down to my house anymore. Now when he sees me, he just waves me off and laughs. I may not know anything about cars, but something tells me I've earned his respect. Moral of the story? Not everybody's out to hurt you. There are nice people out there. Just be aware. Aware of your surroundings and aware of situations that don't feel right. Trust your gut and listen to your instincts. They're there for a reason. Please join me in praying for Sydney's family. They're going through hell right now, and as they learn what happened to her, they're going to need all the strength in the world to get through it. Thank you for watching. As always, I will post updates as I receive them. Stay safe, and I'll see you on my next video.